I would like to congratulate the longest reigning Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast champion of all time, Marques White. Oh, bask in his glory. But Le Champion has retained his gold. And you know what? I retained my gold through hard work, through dedication, through study, and through the fact that WWE never changes when it comes to their upper card. You're predictable. You're easy. But you know what? That's okay. Because you've proven something. I am the only two-time champion in the history of this podcast. And unlike that bum on Dynamite, this Le Champion got his gold back.
So, while I could focus on a litany of things, I have so many emotions. It'll come back. I could say so many things. I could talk about how dominating my victory was compared to yours.
You know, Marques.
But I won't. No.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you watch pro wrestling, right? It's a championship. It's gonna change hands. We'll probably hot potato this more than Sasha and Charlotte did the women's title. Go ahead.
Because right now I can't focus on losing one of the most important things in my life.
One of the most important pieces of plastic you ever did see.
Yeah, I can't focus on that right now because while that hurts, that stings badly, what hurts even more than seeing you with what's rightfully mine, what hurts even more was suffering through 3.5, near 4 hours of what was the worst professional wrestling show, sports entertainment, I don't care what you want to call it tonight, one of the worst shows I have ever seen. This was so bad. WWE Elimination Chamber 2020. This is your review. My name's Marques White. That's Nick Cavalli. We're the Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast. And tonight, I'm pissed off. This show sucked. It was terrible. It was lazy. It was boring. It was uninspired. It's one of the worst shows you've ever put on, WWE. You should be embarrassed of yourselves. I don't even want to sit here and break down each match. I'm not going to talk about spots for the matches. I don't want to do any of that. All I want to do is sit here and tell you how atrocious tonight was. I fell asleep in one of the matches tonight. On a pay-per-view. We both did.
Same match.
Same match. At different points, mind you, but the same match. Because that's how pathetic this was. This is what happens when you focus all of your time and energy on a blood money show instead of the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. You should be ashamed of yourself. And the fact that the talent had to scrape together and form some semblance of a wrestling show from the scraps that you gave them. The scraps, the little tatters of build that you sprinkled in. I feel bad for them. Watching what these people had to go through tonight, the paycheck can't be worth it. Can't be worth your respect, your dignity.
And yet it is, time and time again.
It's absolutely embarrassing. Mm-hmm. WWE, this right here is why AEW is kicking your ass in the ratings week in and week out. Because they actually give a damn about what they throw out there, what people are paying money for. And God help the people that didn't spend $9.99 on the network and actually paid for the pay-per-view for this show.
Or worse, bought tickets.
If I could, you should, WWE, if you had any like sense of self-worth at all, you should offer every single fan in the crowd a refund for having to sit through that. This was, by the way, this pay-per-view was held in Philadelphia. Could you tell? Because I couldn't, because the crowd, crickets the entire night. Absolute silence. It was like the librarian came out and told everybody, shh.
And the funny thing is, it's not even the crowd, because they got hot at the times they needed to get hot.
For like the 2 times that should have justified a pop, because everything else was that bad. Nothing else justified any reaction, any emotional response.
Yeah. No hate
from
on
the
you,
crowd.
Philly.
Like, I absolutely, I don't.
I'd have been in the same place.
No,
you could have held that in Chicago.
You could have held it in Chicago.
Well, then you would have get the CM Punk chance.
Chicago, Detroit, New York, doesn't matter. Like this, like react. You could have held this in
the Garden.
At the Garden. You could have held this in Wembley Stadium. It wouldn't matter. This was the worst show of 2020. Worst show. One of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Worst show of the decade.
It was so bad. I can't. I don't even know, like, I'm so frustrated right now because I have to sit here and, like, go through this and break this down and talk about, like, each match one by one and even give credence to this as a pay-per-view tonight, as a professional wrestling show, as a sports entertainment show.
Yeah.
I think you forgot the entertainment part.
You know what's funny? It's World Wrestling Entertainment, and they forgot the W and the E. Because there was not that good of wrestling.
No.
And the entertainment was bollocks.
And my God, though, I feel so... The women... Oh, my God. Oh, my... What did...
Shayna Baszler? Look, we only have to go through as much as you want to go through, because quite frankly, I don't care. I've been checked out of the main roster for weeks, and, this is why.
So...
Because I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this kind of emotion anymore. There's a reason that I'm sitting here smiling. You know, it doesn't matter that I won this. I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, and I am very thankful to have it, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm sitting here smiling because I just didn't care. I sat there and could not possibly care less. I literally looked at it as though I was watching someone play 2K. And that's it. And it was still really bad for 2K.
It's not like I expected anything from this. It's not like I had expectations. But my God, could you have tried any less? This was everything that people say is wrong with WWE wrapped into one pay-per-view. Every last bit.
Well, and we talked about the whole... I did, about the predictability of the upper card. AJ Styles match, predictable. You even said after you made your prediction, I just lost.
Well, the only reason that I picked AJ Styles over Aleister Black is because I felt like I was just hoping, like, okay, WWE don't... First of all, I was hoping with the whole Undertaker being angry at WWE thing that maybe that would play a factor at some point. And second, I was hoping that WWE wouldn't just do because we're building towards WrestleMania that we're going to have Taker interfere during the match. Maybe it'd be like an after the match type deal or something. And then, nope, from the moment the bell rang, it was just forcing it down your throat that it was going to be an Undertaker appearance at some point in this match. Everyone in the crowd chanting Undertaker before the bell even rang. Everyone knew.
Your title matches, predictable. Your number one contenders match.
Well, I guess except for one, right?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Your upper card titles. Does the IC title even matter anymore?
Well, do we have an upper card title match?
I mean,
All we had was mid
tag titles.
Does that count as upper card? I'd consider that mid card.
Yeah, fine.
Like, we did... Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing, the problem with this show, too, is that not a single main title was defended.
Well, because Goldberg and Brock.
Because Goldberg and Brock.
You booked yourself into a corner.
You already had Roman... When you have... The whole idea... Let me spell this out for you. There was not... This is the first... I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time at an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view you have not had a men's single Elimination Chamber match.
And, well, you know, but this is what really bothers me. You had so much potential with the Roman Reigns spot. He could have come out and done the I'm next thing and had somebody come out and say, well, if you're next, you're going to have to go through 5 other people because you're going to be in the Elimination Chamber. Exactly. But instead, they're like, tag titles.
Like, we were already going into this match, this show, treating it like it was a house show because not a single main title was defended on this show, and not a single match had, it's minus the Women's Elimination Chamber match, had any build towards a world championship. Roman Reigns already called his shot before Elimination Chamber, which defeats the entire purpose of Elimination Chamber.
Well, having it this late in the year.
Having it the show right before Mania, because the whole idea of this card is to build toward Mania. When you do your WrestleMania build before WrestleMania, the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, that's supposed to be your building pay-per-view, what's the point?
Yeah, see, this is the thing that bothers me. You remember, 3 or 4 years ago, they had to add an entire extra pay-per-view because there was so much build to do.
Yes.
With the Dean Ambrose, Triple H, Roman Reigns kind of thing.
That's how Fastlane was born.
Well, that's how Roadblock was born.
Yeah.
Like, they had to add a pay-per-view. This year, you could have done with one less.
Yeah.
That's not good. You should be on the cusp of having too many ideas. Not enough.
You shouldn't be just barely scraping things together. Like, this was... You honestly could have just canceled Elimination Chamber. You could have just said, nope, nope, we don't need it. We don't need it. We didn't need it. Nothing was accomplished from this show. Did anything from the night move the needle at all? Did anything build towards anything really? I mean, everything, the status quo basically remained except for 2 things.
It builds towards WrestleMania. Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman.
Yep. That is the only thing status quo that changed, was that you took the title off of Braun Strowman and that you made Shayna Baszler #1 contender.
But I mean, everybody already knew.
Yeah,
it was gonna be Shayna. So
everything else, status quo. Nothing changed. You did not need this pay-per-view. You definitely did not need 2 chamber matches, especially with what you did with the women's match. That didn't need to be in the chamber.
Nope.
That's an embarrassment to the chamber. This is one of the worst chamber matches I've ever seen. You want to talk about matches that don't need stipulations? Perfect example right there. What does the Elimination Chamber is supposed to be meant for ultimate brutality. It's supposed to be where you put everything on the line, risk your life, body, and limb.
Not tap out within 5 seconds.
For an opportunity to go to WrestleMania. Remember when that meant something? When main eventing, headlining WrestleMania for a chance for a championship. The opportunity of a lifetime. What you work your entire life for. That's what Elimination Chamber is supposed to be. That's what makes it like the Devil's Playground. That's what makes it more vicious than Hell in a Cell. Because it's supposed to be the thing that you put everything on the line. Everything on the line for an opportunity at WrestleMania. And you have people tap out in 10 seconds.
Which is why one of my possible MVP picks tonight is Liv Morgan. Passing out to Shayna Baszler's Carafuna clutch, whether that was scripted or not, whether she was supposed to tap or pass out, that was one of the most brilliant moments of the night because it showed that she gave a damn. She pointed at the WrestleMania sign and said, I'm going to WrestleMania. You're not taking that away from me. And refused to tap out. Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Natalya, within 5 seconds of the hold being applied. Come on.
If this is what you're gonna do, like, if I guess WWE goes, okay, so they basically built with Super Showdown a whole pay-per-view based around like legends and vets, right? So I guess WWE goes, well, with this pay-per-view, we're not going to have really any legends pop up except for the Undertaker appearance, right? But if this is what you're going to do with your regular talent and your regular guys, I mean, at least you show them that you put effort into the legends. I'd rather just have, why don't we just have Taker, Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar come back? Oh, wait, it's because they can't work full-time, right? It's because they cost too much, right? Otherwise, why not? Why don't we just have Undertaker on every Monday Night Raw? Why don't we just have Brock Lesnar fight every Monday night? You got that Fox money? Sell out the big bucks, Vince McMahon. Why not? Have Goldberg deliver a couple spears and jackhammers, right? That'll get the kiddies fired up, right? Rather than seeing freaking Natalya come out there with kitty ears on her face, freaking tapping out outside the ring, and then you say later on that it doesn't count on the outside of the ring because nothing makes sense in your company. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. This makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. This is without a doubt the worst build to a WrestleMania I've ever seen, and I'm calling my shot right now. This is going to be the worst WrestleMania we've seen I don't even know,
this is going to be the worst WrestleMania.
It's so bad.
This is going to be this is going to be the worst WrestleMania.
And I don't even feel bad for the people. I was going to say I feel bad for those that are going to go and pay money to see I don't feel bad for you because you know what you're getting into. You're going to go to WrestleMania and spend the hundreds to thousands of dollars. You're going to waste your money to go and sit there.
People I feel bad for, the people who bought tickets when they went on sale. Yeah. And they had no idea what the card was going to look like.
But for everyone else, for you guys that are going to pay all that money to sit in the first couple rows, to go to WrestleMania, period, and, we're going to go to WrestleMania, whatever. You deserve what you get. You really do. Spend the thousands of dollars to go to Tampa Bay and suffer for 6 to 7 hours. Please do. Go bake in the sun, please.
6 to 7? Come on, it's WrestleMania. 12.
You're right.
We're starting at noon this year.
Taker's entrance is going to be 2 hours by itself, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and if Triple H has any part in Mania, we know his is going to be 2 hours as well. So
this is how we've come so far in such a short time from Royal Rumble, where there was at least hope going into WrestleMania. You had Drew McIntyre as the number one contender going to headline WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. We had hope.
The Fiend beat Bray Wyatt in a strap match. A strap match that looked good.
This was coming out of Royal Rumble. We were saying not only that this was one of the better Royal Rumbles we've seen in I don't even know how long. We were genuinely excited for what was going to happen going into WrestleMania season, and you have under-delivered in every possible way. You have just given up. AEW has just snatched your heart. Vince McMahon, for the guy that's supposed to have no fear, that's supposed to be the guy that isn't afraid of anyone, you let Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes snatch your heart. Where's the passion? Where's the spirit? Are you too busy freaking dealing with the XFL? If that's the case, let Triple H run the show. Or when you do come back with your insane ideas of having Ricochet lose to freaking Riddick Moss in under 5 minutes. If those are the ideas you're going to bring, then please piss off back to the XFL. Otherwise, just retire. Or act like you give a damn.
Vince wrote this company off a long, long time ago, and we have had, 3 or 4 times within the last 4 or 5 years where he's come out after ratings have dipped and gone, we're going to give you guys what you want. We're going to change things. It's going to be different this time. And ratings go back up for 3 to 4 months. And then things start to get just as bad as they were before because nothing really changed. It was just a different presentation of the earlier stuff. Ratings plateau. Ratings begin to fall. Repeat.
Yeah, you get your superstar shakeups, right? And your whatever the hell the wild card rule was. Like you get these. Oh, clearly it's not the writing. It's just we need to put AJ Styles on Raw. That'll fix it, right? And we need Roman on SmackDown. That'll fix it. The ratings aren't working out. Then let's bring John Cena back for a Friday night or two. Oh, people aren't invested in main roster storylines. I got it. AJ versus Taker. Because everyone loves Undertaker, right? He gets all the pops. Everyone cares about the near 70-year-old with the bad hip coming to struggle down the ramp to fight one of the best wrestlers in the world at WrestleMania, right? Everyone wants to see that for it, not even for a title, just cause reasons. Cause you stopped me from winning this plastic trophy that no one cares about as soon as the show is over. I don't see Brock Lesnar walking around with the greatest Royal Rumble trophy anymore, now do you? They don't even really acknowledge it.
Braun Strowman.
Sorry.
I know. I'm trying to catch you here, bud. You're like runaway train, and I wanna make sure you don't go off the tracks.
Be pretty hard to go off the tracks. WWE already abandoned the whole train. They already dove headfirst off of it. It's a runaway at this point. Mm-hmm. No one is at control. No one's at the helm.
I know.
It's embarrassing.
I know.
It's a shame. It really is. And the sad part is that we're gonna sit here. We're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna get all worked up, and then I'm gonna watch Monday Night Raw tomorrow. It's gonna be bad, probably. And then I'm going to watch Wednesday night NXT, where someone who has taken something that was started out as developmental and made it the best show in your company. That man is Paul Levesque. Not Hunter Hearst Helmsley. No, that's Paul. The guy that should be running your company right now. And there's another Paul, by the way, that works in your company. He's a pretty clever man, I think he had a hand in the Extreme Revolution or something, creating some of the most innovative storylines in pro wrestling.
I think this is the guy that everybody has said, had he been given the funds that Ted Turner had, would have beat WWE.
I think this is the guy that some of the most creative and innovative storylines you have going right now are written by him. What's this guy's name? I think
Paul Heyman?
His name is Paul Heyman.
I mean, he says it every week on Raw.
He's the head of writing? Executive chair
something like that. What is wrong with you, Vince? What is wrong with the whole? This is the thing. This is the rant that I got into on Monday night. The whole what's wrong with the whole damn company thing, and you had to calm me down. I'm just gonna let you go because I'm already past this point.
Well, the difference is the reason I don't get upset at Monday Night Raw is because at least with Raw. Again, there are things I can point to where I can go, okay, there's Paul Heyman at least trying to fight off Vince McMahon's BS. I don't think Paul Heyman had anything to do with the show tonight.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure this was all Vince. And even it had...
I could see Paul Heyman booking the women's chamber match like that.
If Paul Heyman had anything to do with that women's elimination chamber match, then he's a sham.
The only reason I say that is because he is the guy who continuously says, if you have someone who is an absolute monstrous athlete, a Brock Lesnar, you don't let them get beat down before they get to the main event.
This is also the guy that used to have people put their lives on the line every week.
Yeah.
For like pennies.
Yeah.
Pennies.
Well, see, but this is the thing. I feel like he booked it, but it was more or less Vince came up to him and said, "Hey, Paul, we're putting that number one contender. You want it to be Shayna Baszler. We're gonna put it in an elimination chamber match." And Paul was like, "I was just gonna have her earn it on Raw or something, series of matches. No, we're gonna put it in elimination chamber."
But my issue, I don't have an issue with the women's elimination chamber match. I'm okay with that if it's booked properly.
But the thing is, But this is what I'm trying to communicate is like, it's what happens when you have two guys booking. When you have Paul saying, "This is my girl, I'm going to build her strong," like squash match Braun Strong, and Vince says, "But I want to put her in an elimination chamber with 5 other people, one of which could arguably beat her." And Paul Heyman goes, "Okay, well, you can put her in an elimination chamber, but I'm still going to book her strong. Like, you've booked me into a corner, Vince. You forced me to do this." Now, I could be wrong, but, I mean, I was right about what happened last week with Paul Heyman and Vince.
We were both right about that. I mean, we both said it was probably Vince McMahon just doing dumb shit.
Yep.
So, which, yeah, it's Vince McMahon just running things on the ground. And again, but if that is Paul Heyman again doing, how short-sighted. I mean, just put something on for the fans. If that's the case, and it's Paul Heyman just going, "Okay, I'm still going to book Shayna strong," then you're basically just throwing away the end of the pay-per-view and saying, "This doesn't matter. Who cares what people paid for, right?" No one came to see an Elimination Chamber match. They just came to watch Shayna smash people in 10 seconds. And that is not what people... And if that is the case, if that is what Paul Heyman did, and if this was all come down to Paul Heyman's booking, then again, Paul Heyman, you're a sham, and you should be gone just like Vince McMahon.
I don't know, man. I kind of like it. If what I said is correct, that's like a sticking it to the man thing. Oh, you want to put us on last too? Okay, you want to change all of my ideas? You want to rip up my script? You want to tell me how I'm going to make my number 1 contender? Okay.
I don't see Paul Heyman being bold and that bold. No, not after the last time he tried doing that. He got fired. Last time he was head of creative on SmackDown, and he tried going against what the Grain wanted. That's how he lost his last job. So I don't...
And the job with ECW, reboot.
So
guess what?
So I don't see him doing that again, and I don't see... He knows... I feel like he knows his place. And he knows that if he goes again... If he doesn't do what he's told, he'll end up just like everybody else.
Yep, but the difference is... he can go somewhere else now. He gets fired from WWE. It's not... "Oh, well, I can go to Impact." Now he gets fired from WWE. It's, "I can become one of the head creative writers for All Elite Wrestling."
But he doesn't want to do that. Paul Heyman has said multiple times he loves WWE. He loves Brock Lesnar. He wants nothing. If he's not in WWE, he wants nothing to do with wrestling. That's literally what... He wasn't even involved in wrestling until WWE reached out to him and said, "Hey, you want to come back and do this thing with Brock Lesnar?" He had said he had put it all behind him. He said, "All right, I was done. I was out of the wrestling, and as soon as I'm done with WWE, I'm going to be out again. I'm going to want nothing to do with it. I want to go on and do my own thing." And this little business that he created, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like something weird. But yeah, he wanted nothing to do with wrestling, and so that's why I don't see him putting that at stake again to try to stick it to the... He knows everyone knows what Vince McMahon is. He knows how hard-headed and stubborn he is. He knew that when he took the job. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like he'd be like, "Oh no, Vince is stepping on my toe." He knew. Everyone knew. So I don't see him trying to stick... I feel like he's past the youthful rebellion. I feel like he's way past that. I feel like he's just, okay, he's like everybody else. He's just gonna, yes, I will do what you say, Vince. As long as the checks keep coming. Because that's what everyone else in WWE is. It's just, as long as the checks keep coming, sure, let's do it. And it's not like he had much to work with. Again, with a couple, 2 weeks of build for a whole pay-per-view, there's not much to work with here.
Right, and you did a good job building up to the match. You made Shayna look like a legitimate badass. Asuka had some value. And in the match, you did a good job making Liv Morgan look strong. Had
you not taken... there were only 2 women in this match that had a chance, and that was Natalya and Asuka. And this is, again, showing how poorly booked this match was that had you not done the whole spot with Natalya before Shayna even got in the ring, you could have at least had Natalya show some semblance of a fight against Shayna. Instead of just getting beat down and embarrassed. Well, what happened to the defending the Hart legacy or whatever it was she said?
And the funny thing is, they had the opportunity to have a Riot Squad square off, to have the 3 of them build a story towards WrestleMania. Maybe you were going to have a Riot Squad triple threat, as stupid as that would be.
Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, well, what are you going to build it on Raw next 3 weeks?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. It'd end up on the pre-show anyway.
I hope Liv goes over.
To be fair, no, that's not even going to be a match. It's just going to be there because let's be honest, they're all three of them are going to end up in the I forgot they took the name away, so it's just the women's battle royale.
Yeah, because wasn't it China or something like that?
No, it was the one. It was not Mae Young, but the other one.
Alundra Blaze.
Not Alundra Blaze. God, what was her name? I feel bad because I'm blanking on this, but it was like some huge controversy, so they were like, no, we're just gonna call it the women's battle royale.
Okay.
Because you couldn't have just called it I mean, I get you already have something named after Mae Young, but I mean, there's other options. I mean, besides.
And the reason I get why you won't go with China, but the reason you named the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is because everybody said he was a hell of a guy to have in a battle royal. Mm-hmm. China's the perfect example of a female in that in that setting.
Exactly.
So, what are you doing?
I don't think.
Or give it a new name, the Trish Stratus Battle Royale or something like that. I don't care. Just do something.
Do whatever. Like, or just don't have it.
It's gonna be the Michelle McCool Memorial Battle Royale.
Is that how they got Taker back?
Yeah. We're gonna name the trophy after Michelle.
All right, I'll do it.
My hip.
You want me to choke slam AJ Styles? I'll do it. When does the check come in?
Also, before we get back on this serious and angry note, Taker, that hair dye though. I mean, I'm cool with it. I think it looks cool, but like,
yo, homie, real talk. Let's chat. Undertaker, Marky Mark. Have you heard of Just for Men? Like
Touch of Grey,
something, my guy.
No, my dude went full on. He took a Sharpie to his hair.
That was as bad as when Kevin Nash came back and his hair was jet black, just like that, beard and everything. Like, dude, you're past that, homie. You gotta like Touch of Grey that stuff.
But you know what? I don't mind it so much, but like. That was like Disciples of Dark.
Yeah.
Like that was like the darkest your hair has been since the 90s.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gone a touch lighter than that, like dark brown or something.
Well, I feel like this is like
Black.
This is the epitome of Taker just not caring and phoning in an arrival. Like he didn't even like. I feel like he dyed his hair the day of the show. Like, not even the day of, like, he waited before he had to come out and was just like, let's do it. Like, that's
Nothing was better than the look on his face as he's choking out Gallows and Anderson, though.
like, I'm scary, I promise. Go to sleep, you whippersnacker.
Oh, he's gonna kill you. He's gonna gong in behind you.
Oh yeah,
and kill you.
I cannot run Taker at this point. He wouldn't make it up the staircase. I'll kick him in the knee.
Undertaker, you've been challenged.
1v1 me, bro. Let's go. No, in all seriousness, no, I love the Undertaker, but it's all jokes. But it just shows just kind of where we've gotten at this point.
Yeah, I needed to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah, this is where we've gotten to where you got near 70-year-old Taker with jet black hair dye coming out, apparently removing the life force from Gallows and Anderson because after he got done choking them, they were just non-existent. He didn't choke slam them. He didn't do anything to them. He just... Oh, and then that was it. Oh, it's Taker. Like, what, they faint from like fangirling too much? Like, I don't know.
Gallows was like, my idol.
Well, yeah, remember he was fake Kane.
Yep.
So he was. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe he's like, oh God, do you remember?
Identity theft is not a joke. Look, do you see what I see? We're 5 minutes deeper into this video than I thought we would ever get.
Oh my goodness. And we've put more effort, I feel like, and more passion and emotion in our review than WWE did for their pay-per-view tonight.
Marques, I have been holding a plastic title around my shoulder despite my arm falling asleep. Yes, I put more effort than Vince put into a pay-per-view.
So, let's we need to talk about this, I guess. I mean,
touch on whatever you want to touch on. I'm perfectly fine just doing whatever at this point.
So, as if anyone thought anything different, Andrade wins his match against Humberto Carrillo. He won roll up, holding the tights. Cool.
Setting up for a continuation of the feud.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the tag team chamber match, which started out having at least potential, right? We kicked things off with the New Day versus the Usos, but even that was just like not very good.
The New Day had a paint by color attire, and the color code was on their booty.
And the Usos were dressed like they were on their way to an NBA game, not a wrestling match, coming out in the all jean outfit.
And then we get the Lucha House Party.
Without Kalisto?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed to not see Kalisto. I don't know if he's hurt. Like, clearly I don't pay attention to 205 Live at all. But they looked not
They
bad.
had the best spot of the entire night.
They had arguably the best run of the three
I think they had the best spot of the whole night. I'm just going to say it. They definitely did.
No, it wasn't. Otis face planting through a plexiglass piece.
So, Lucha House Party comes in. Miz and Morrison in next. They did some... Lucha House Party had the best spots. Grand Metalik hit a Hurricane Rana to Morrison, jumping off the top of one of the pods. That was insane, but it wasn't as insane as what Lince Dorado does later on.
Yeah.
After Heavy Machinery comes in... Oh, go ahead.
Well, see, this is the thing. Lince Dorado, I said during the match, I had mentioned, last time we had a tag team one like this, it was, the... what was it? The friggin'
That's very descriptive.
the guys,
This is your champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Primo and Epico before they were the Shining Stars. Those guys.
Okay.
And El Torito Loco did the little flippy thing off the cage, except instead of doing a flippy thing, El Torito Loco just did a crossbody.
Yeah, Lince Dorado climbed to the top of the chamber and hit a shooting star.
He was suspended from just his arms.
Yep.
And hit a shooting star press.
Shooting star press from the top of the chamber. The one man that tried.
MVP Lince Dorado.
MVP. You're the only... You're the one... Crown this man.
Genuinely, he's one of my two candidates for MVP.
He's the only... You, genuinely, sir, the fact that you were willing to put your body on the line for this...
that.
For this.
Only for Grand Metalik to get pinned immediately.
You know what? Hats off to you, sir. Because the fact that you actually, you cared, you actually did something, said, you know what, screw it. I don't care that this whole pay-per-view is phoned in. I'm not going to phone in my performance. I'm still going to go out there and I'm going to do what the best I can do to put on an amazing show for these fans in attendance and for the fans watching around the world. I appreciate that. I really do. So thank you, Lince Dorado.
You know what that means,
Thank
right?
you, Grand Metalik. You two generally made me not care. Nothing could have made me care, but you made me at least for like half a second awake from my daze. So thank you.
Lucha House Party to AEW confirmed. You actually tried.
Like even New. And I'm the guy that I feel like New Day and Usos are two of the best tag teams in WWE, let alone two of the best tag teams like on the planet. I mean, you put New Day and Usos. I mean, again, I would love to see the Usos versus the Young Bucks. I'd love to see the New Day versus the Lucha Brothers. Like, I just the matches you could have on the indie scene, by the way, like insane. But even they looked like they were kind of phoning it in tonight. Like, they weren't giving it their all. Like, they were just kind of like, yeah, this is a thing and it's happening. Like, they just didn't seem like they cared.
Yeah, and for how much I love my guy, Otis literally did not know a single spot.
No,
he looked at Take.
Yeah,
like, huh? Where do I? He got in the ring, got out of the ring, got in the ring, got out of the ring, got in the ring.
Yeah,
for a spot because he didn't know where he was supposed to be for the spot.
Shout out to Chucker Knight hitting a front flip off the pod. That was unexpected. And then, yeah, as we talk about it, Otis does run straight through one of the pods to the outside of the chamber, effectively eliminating himself from the match.
Oh my god, in the decade and a half I've been calling these chamber matches, I've never seen anything like this. Well, yeah. That's because they went to plexiglass 3 years ago.
Yeah, like, of course you've never seen like this, because there's no way in hell you would have seen.
Or are they going to go through the chain?
Yeah, I mean, at least for like Hell, we've seen like panels come off before, so you could have gotten spots like that, but like never like someone running straight through a pod to the outside. There's no way you would have seen that. So,
still waiting on that to happen off one of the tops of the pods.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, one of these years,
well, maybe not funny, but the sad thing is, it's going to happen, and it's probably not going to be on purpose. Your guys are full on throwing each other into the plexiglass.
Putting full confidence and faith that thing is not going to break.
It's going to break. Someone's going to get hurt.
Well, why do I feel like that's the only part of the cell that's like, well, besides obviously the chain link part, that's like just
not
fully
gimmicked.
That's like fully reinforced.
Yeah.
Like, that's like just, it may look like it looks like it is, but it's like probably just like the hardest part of the cell.
Yeah.
The structure, let's be honest.
Miz and Morrison win?
Miz and Morrison win. Yeah, Ziggler and Rude, what was the purpose of you coming in last? Your guaranteed spot last in the match? If you hit a super kick and a glorious DDT on Tucker Knight, and then immediately get hit with Uso splashes to be eliminated, what did you do?
Yes.
What was the point? Oh, and by the way, WWE, if you're going to do the whole Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are guaranteed the last spot in the chamber, then when you're doing the light thing over the pods, just don't even show their pod in rotation, because we know they can't be picked. You even did it with the last two.
Yeah.
Like, we just have them come in. We know that Ziggler and Roode aren't coming in the match. What was the point? You're just wasting our time. You really are. But yeah, Miz and Morrison used the rope. Someone finally realized, oh yeah, this is no DQ, and used the ropes to pin the Usos for the victory. So Miz and Morrison retain. Cool. We get AJ Styles versus Aleister Black, and honestly, it wasn't a bad match.
No, really good match.
Yeah, pretty good match. It was, in fact, aside from the constant calling of, well, you got to make sure that you watch out for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson on the outside, and remember, this is no disqualification, just really ramming down our throats that they're there and that something's going to happen with them, and it's probably going to be Undertaker popping up. Like, besides that, there was a point in this match where it looked like AJ was just going to win clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to be honest with you, I don't really care to wait till the end of the video to say this. Match of the night.
I'd say so, yeah.
Cool. We got that out of the way.
Yeah.
I'll save my MVP.
Yeah, but there were to a point. I felt like I really did. I actually had gotten pretty confident in my pick. I mean, it felt like, you had AJ go.
Oh, I was scared.
Yeah, you had AJ. I mean, they always do the thing where you set up the spot, you're gonna go through it, but there was one point, AJ for the most part was kind of dominating Aleister, but then you had a point where, Aleister went on, a run. He put AJ through the chair set up in the corner, then AJ went to the table on the outside, and, Aleister was, just nailing offense on AJ left and right, and it looked like, okay, they're doing the thing where, Aleister's getting built up, so we're probably getting to the end here, and it's probably going to be AJ going over Aleister. It looked like they were just going to put AJ over clean. And then you did the thing. You had all three members beat down on Alistair. Taker gongs in, choke hold weird thing to
The tongue and death grip.
Yep, tongue and death grip. Just choking the life, I guess, out of Gallows and Anderson. Then they just kind of go out of the ring and
Piss off somewhere else.
Somewhere. AJ attempts a maneuver, gets caught, and then choke slammed. Taker immediately gongs out, and then AJ kind of quickly gets back up from a choke slam from Taker. Those things don't have the effect they used to, don't they?
I mean, he got pinned for the 1-2-3 in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly, but then he pops right back up.
Well, to be fair, with how long it takes Taker to get out of the ring, with the bad hip and get underneath the apron,
Yeah, lights go down, and it's like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, so, that's about right.
Yeah, AJ pops up, gets caught with the
Black
black mask. 1, 2, 3. And it's just immediately.
And you're new.
And I wasn't even angry at that I lost the title. I was angry at the fact that you actually did it. And again, this is the exact same thing you did at Super Showdown. You had Taker come in, choke slam AJ for the loss.
Yeah, of course they actually did it. Because it's WWE.
And again, what is this doing for AJ Styles? First of all, let's not even get to AJ. What is this doing for Aleister Black? What does Aleister gain from winning this match? He was about to lose, and then he wins the match because Taker, his spooky dad, had to come save him. Yes. Still waiting on the storyline that Taker's somehow Aleister Black's dad. Waiting on that one. But, Taker has to save the match for him. So that does nothing for Aleister.
He's the spawn of Aleister Black and Michelle McCool.
Taker
and Michelle McCool.
What does this do for AJ? Now he's lost again. Another big match. And now he's going into WrestleMania to beat down on an old man. If he wins the match, cool. I mean, I get that it's the whole Taker losing at WrestleMania thing, but he's already lost twice at WrestleMania. So the mystique is gone.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, and also, again, this is one of the best wrestlers in the world against a near 70-year-old man with a bad hip who really can't go anymore. So if AJ wins the match, cool. If AJ loses the match, oh God. So
the sky is falling.
So there's no winner. If this doesn't even get Taker's legacy is established, blah blah blah, whatever. But then again, if Taker wins, then it's Taker coming back to bury young talent. Not that AJ's a spring chicken or anything, but he's not that old. He's
only 20 years younger than Taker.
Yeah, he's 35, 36, something like that. So he's actually he might even be older than that. He might even I thought he's close to 40, isn't he?
I have no idea, man.
He's somewhere in there, but
but he's 15, 20 years younger than Taker.
Yeah, so if Taker comes and wins, then he's burying the younger talent, and then if Taker loses, then it's just another blow to the legacy of Undertaker for a paycheck. I've said this before. I feel like Taker should have been done when he lost to Roman. I feel like that should have been it. The way they did it, the send-off, the putting the coat and the hat in the middle of the ring, gonging off, well, not gonging off, but descending down into the ramp, that was perfect. Perfect send-off, the emotion, everything.
But to be fair, I love what Undertaker said about that he never planned for that to be his goodbye, but if something were to go wrong with his hip surgery, he would settle for it. He still wants to have a true retirement match. The question is, how long do we have to wait?
Yes. Is AJ going to be a retirement match?
No. It's going to be a retirement match. It's going to be a stipulation. So unless AJ within the next month says your
career is over, then we have to suffer through another not even year, but a season, WrestleMania season, where Taker just pops up, attacks some young talent, and then bad storyline and match for Mania again.
I've said for years that I want it to be Kane, but now that Kane is also older and also can no longer go, I think I'd like to see John Cena do the honors.
I would have loved that when it was supposed to happen last year.
But I think...
Or 2 years ago, excuse me.
Well, because Cena and Taker have talked about how neither of them are huge fans of that match, but they thought it was good for the time. I think if Taker comes to Vince and says, look, I want to have my retirement match and I want it to be John Cena, they'll be able to do a correct send-off.
Well, as correct as you can do, again, it's...
At 57 years old.
Like, again, it's... You have an... Not only do you at that point have an incredibly old Undertaker, but then you also have a John Cena who's been out of the game now for, at that point, would have been 2 to 3 years. A guy who's not on the road, who's... Last time you did see him, looked a little goofy in the ring. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to. I'm being honest. I don't want to see either one of them.
Well, but that's the thing. You have a year to build that. If that's the way it's going to work.
But it won't be a year. It'll be pop up like after Royal Rumble. Here's the build.
Well, yeah, definitely with Taker. But I mean, it depends on John Cena's schedule. If John Cena doesn't have some big movie to tape, takes a year off from acting, and takes a year to get back in the ring, spend some. Because look, we all know that no matter how much John Cena says, you'll never know when I'm gone. I'll just walk away into the sunset. He's going to win a 17th championship, and he's going to retire in a retirement match like everybody else. You're a legend. That's what happens. So, Cena is not done by any means.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, you say, like, oh, he's a legend, that's what happens. But how many people have actually gotten that send-off? Not many. Didn't happen to Stone Cold. Didn't happen to The Rock.
See, but again, Stone Cold and The Rock both chose to leave.
Well, Stone Cold didn't shoot.
Well, yeah, injury.
Yeah.
And The Rock, well, quite frankly, as much as I hate to say this, do we know The Rock's done?
Well, again, but The Rock is in that John Cena status where it's like, yeah, like he's kind of just floating around. Like,
right.
Oh, I'll pop up for an appearance here
right.
and now.
But if either one of those guys...
It's everyone said it, like going out on your terms is very rare. The fact that Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair got to do it, that doesn't happen often. You don't normally get, but the fact that those three guys got at WrestleMania, no less, to go out on their own terms, that really doesn't happen in this business. So,
not anymore.
Not really ever though. Like guys never really got that chance to go, yeah, this is how I go out. This is my last match. Like I'm going to retire at WrestleMania, and that's going to be the big
quite
thing.
Frankly, Ric Flair didn't get that option either.
Well, he did. He just chose to squander it in TNA.
Hey, JBL.
Also, by the way, Shawn Michaels also squandered it later on in the Blood Money match. So,
yeah.
Well, actually, that wasn't Blood Money. That was Australia. That was Australia. I'm sorry. That was just money.
Kangaroo Money match?
Kangaroo Money, yeah, man.
JBL?
Yeah, JBL
getting beat in 6 seconds by Rey Mysterio.
JBL is again, it's one of the few things that it happens to a few people, but
he's a legend, clearly.
Now he is.
I know what you're saying. I don't know. I think John Cena's not done. I think he's seen another run out of him. So I'd be okay with that. Although personally, I'd like to see John Cena in a title feud at WrestleMania next year.
If it's against AJ Styles, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, actually.
I'd love to see John come back. Or against Roman Reigns. I still don't think... I still thought, regardless of what people said when John came back and people were chanting, "You both suck." First of all, if you didn't watch the promos that these two guys cut on each other and didn't immediately go, fire, I don't. Your opinion of pro wrestling means nothing to me because John Cena cut some of the most impassioned, and Roman Reigns, for the first time in his career, that was the birth of Roman being able to talk on the mic coherently. John Cena came back and did that. He said, "All right, kid, I'm back because you can't do your job," and that was the wake up call. Oh, if I don't get my act together, Cena's taking my job back. So,
yeah. Well,
that feud. Say what you want about the match, the feud was amazing. I would love to see them dip their toe back in that, maybe something.
That's why we talk. Well, we're talking about Cena and Reigns, but we just mentioned The Rock. Rumors are still saying Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 37. Get a full year out of The Rock, maybe?
I wonder. Yeah, you could do a lot with The Rock because you could get the whole. Excuse me, like you could go the whole like you're an embarrassment to the family route. You could go the whole
Especially if he loses to Goldberg.
Yeah, like you could do you could also do the whole like, oh, you didn't do it like how I did it, like, oh, like let me come back and teach you how it's done. You could do so much with The Rock. Hell, you could go the other way. You could have Roman being like, why are you back? Like, this is my yard. Like, piss off back to Hollywood.
Yeah, like The Rock comes to celebrate with him or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
and he's like, this, you're hogging my spotlight.
Do you remember what happened last time you came to celebrate with me?
Exactly. So there's so much you could do with it. I am okay with people coming back like that. Like if The Rock or John Cena coming back and engaging in a feud engaging in a feud that's going to help inevitably boost somebody in the end. I'm okay with that. I just don't see what AJ gets out of this Taker feud. I don't think anyone's a winner in this.
I think if AJ wins, he does get a little bit of a boost. I mean, he's old, but I think Taker.
Well, I'm sure as a competitor, like as a professional wrestler, like it's another notch on your cap. It's like another like, hey, I got to fight Taker at Mania. So I'm sure personally that's probably a huge thing for him. But professionally, I don't really know what it does. Like, again, I just don't. Is beating Taker at Mania as important as it used to be anymore?
I feel like it is. I mean, yeah, he has 2 losses, but he has, 25 wins?
But I don't know. I don't want to compare it to sports, but it's kind of like beating up on the Warriors now. Where they're like, does anybody care about the Warriors? Even when they get fully loaded again next year. I mean, people are sleeping on them, but like it's kind of like, does anyone care? Or even Tom Brady and the Patriots, does anyone care about them anymore? Like, so it's kind of like, I don't know. And I feel like this is actually worse than both those scenarios because at least the Warriors and the Patriots have the chance to get reloaded again and go off. Taker does not have that opportunity. Like if he wanted to, he could. Like what you see is kind of what you get from Taker.
Yeah, if he would accept a full-time contract and come back and work a 6-month program.
But he physically can't. That's the thing.
I don't know that. I don't know that. With the replaced hip, he has shown a lot more mobility.
Yeah, he looks so mobile.
Okay, look, compared to limping in the ring against Roman, he looks better.
Okay, he goes from limping to like only being able to move his leg in one direction because the replaced hip can't bend. Like, yeah.
My God.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Taker in a 6-month. I don't want to see Taker in a 1-month program. Get off my TV. Just go retire into the sunset, Undertaker. Just go away.
That makes one of us. Come back. I want another title run. Anyways, let's move on to something else because
something else depressing.
Is so much longer than it needs to be already.
Something else depressing. Street Profits versus Seth and Buddy Murphy. Street Profits win.
Cool. Next.
Cool. It was literally a repeat of the match that they did on Raw. Next we get. I do got to point out Kevin Owens popped up. So
shocking.
Yeah, and he was eating popcorn. Cool.
Shocking.
Braun Strowman versus Sami, Shinsuke, and Cesaro in a handicap match for the Intercontinental Championship.
And Sami Zayn wins with a double back suplex haluva kick, to which his partners, who feasibly would probably also want the championship,
just roll out of
the ring.
Just like, cool, you got it, Sami.
Good work, Sami. Proud of you.
Shinsuke, who was the former champion, you would think would want it back.
Nope.
Cesaro, who has done literally nothing since coming back, you'd think would want a title.
Not at all.
Nope. It's the guy who hasn't been in matches.
Who hasn't wrestled in a year.
In like a year, who's literally just been going out and making a fool of himself week in and week out.
Yep.
That's our new champion.
Yep.
You took it off of Braun to give it to Sami. I love you, Sami, but why?
The only thing I can think, there is another rumor going around right now that the WWE will possibly be holding a draft after WrestleMania.
Oh, it's not a rumor. Like, they do it every year.
Yeah, I know, but like a full draft instead of like a superstar shakeup or whatever. So,
well, So they did, when they did the whole Fox deal and everything, they did an actual draft. They did do that. But even with the Superstar shakeup, it was essentially just the draft.
So the thought here might be maybe that Braun, they want him on Raw.
Yay?
So
yeah,
he can feud with Brock and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, let's put Braun on Raw to do nothing on Monday nights.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, next.
The last thing is the women's Elimination Chamber match.
Shayna Baszler wins.
Makes
everyone tap out.
What are you doing? You could have very easily, again, done something with Natalya. It was right there. Natalya, before the match, goes, I'm doing this for
my legacy.
For my legacy, and I'm doing this for Beth Phoenix, right? And then she gets nothing in on Shayna because you had her get beat up before Shayna even got into the match. And then the people that beat her up tapped like that. Shayna gets their arms around her, and it's an immediate tap. Not even, you don't know it's him, just over, gone. You had Sarah Logan come in and look somewhat strong against Ruby Riott and Natalya. Just you try to immediately tap out to Shayna. So again, I ask, what's the point?
There is none.
You do this whole thing with Ruby Riott coming in, trying to be this badass, and then you tried to build her up after her being gone from injury for months, and then taps immediately to Shayna.
There's two people who look strong in this match: Shayna and maybe Liv Morgan.
I'd say
Asuka looked strong too.
Asuka's the only one that looked like she not had a chance, but could go toe to toe at least for a minute or two with. Yeah. Because Liv Morgan just.
She got in the most offense other than Asuka. She got a whole 4 offensive moves in.
She looked strong in the fact that she didn't submit. She just passed out from the pain.
And man, that hanging on the cell kind of front double kick, whatever she was doing, that was cool. That was a spot.
Yeah, that was something, all right. So shout out to Liv for at least
existing,
and then shout out to they were teasing Asuka the whole match, every time someone looked at her, Shayna looked at her, it was just yo, let's go, Asuka's gonna be in the match and she's gonna do something. She's not afraid of Shayna. She's going to be the one to at least get offense in on Shayna Baszler. But then you had Shayna eliminate 3 women like that. So then you had this awkward span of 4 to 5 minutes of Shayna just walking around the ring while Asuka screams angrily in Japanese and Liv Morgan feebly says, "I'm gonna win. I'm going to Mania. I'm pointing at the sign. I'm going to Mania." This went on for 4 to 5 minutes before Liv Morgan's pod door opened. Why? Why didn't you just, as soon as Shayna took out the other 3 women, you should have just been yep, Liv, come on in. Come right on in. And then you do the same thing. After Liv passes out, we have to sit there and watch Shayna walk around for another 5 minutes while Asuka bangs on the pod and is screaming angrily in Japanese.
Yes, it was Brock at the Rumble.
Yeah, everyone's just looking around can this be done now? Asuka's the only one left. Do we have to do the full time limit for the pod door to open? Just get to the point.
Well, no, because remember, they can't fluctuate their rules. We have to make sure that it's 5 minutes for everyone because we have to have our rules set.
It's funny that you say they can't fluctuate the rules, but then we had Natalya tap out on the outside. Of the ring, yeah. But then when Shayna put Asuka in
the Carafuna,
Asuka put
in the Asuka
Shayna in the Asuka lock. Shayna rolled out, and then you had Tom Phillips go, well, so smart for Shayna as a result of rolling out to the outside of the ring, she broke up the submission
attempt.
What? Excuse me if I'm wrong. That's not how that works. And if it is how it works, then why did you have Natalya tap out on the outside of the ring and it count?
it looked like the ref was kind of gesturing at first, like, you need to get her in the ring. You need to get her in the... Oh, okay, ring the bell.
And I said this when, after that horrible spot with Asuka and Shayna, that maybe what they meant by that is that Shayna was able to free herself a little out of the submission. Is that what happened? Because if you're saying that, then okay, then at least there's some clarity there, and I'll maybe have to go. I'm not going to rewatch it. I'm not going to do that. But maybe I'll look up an article and see if... Because I'm sure we're not the only ones that are like, huh? So I'll go on Twitter, I'll go on Google and see if they explain it or something. Because normally when a referee messes up, WWE will try to like come out later and clarify. So I give them credit at least for doing that. So maybe something like that will happen. But I feel like it was just a rule glitch where they were just like, oh, who cares? Consistency doesn't matter. But yeah, you do all this build up for Asuka to get into the match, and to her credit, for at least a minute or two, they were pretty back and forth. It looked like this was the match that everyone's been wanting since, because it was kind of like, it looked like you just missed Asuka and Shayna. As Asuka leaves NXT, Shayna comes into NXT, so they just missed each other, and it was like, oh, what could have been when Asuka was at the height of her Empress of Tomorrow gimmick versus the Queen of Spades, like what we could have gotten. So this was kind of like it's about time, it's finally. And if you're going to do okay, Shayna's going to squash everybody else, and then you're going to let Asuka get an offense, then can we at least get a match? Like, just let them go. You had so much time because you did the rest of the chamber and like that. So let them go.
And you're on the network.
The network, so let them go for a little bit. Let Asuka and Shayna go 10, 15 minutes. Let them just beat the hell out of each other. Why not? You spent all that time trying to build Asuka as this unstoppable monster when she was in that feud against Becky, the person that she had to overcome, and that when she finally did, she got superpowers from. So if Asuka's that unbeatable, that like unstoppable, the person that like she's just so tough to overcome, and you put Becky through all that, then by virtue of how kind of things go,
squash match at Mania,
yeah, like, is Shayna going to bury Becky Lynch? Because if Asuka was that hard for Becky to get over, and Shayna dealt with her in under 10 minutes, so it's like consistency here. Like, Asuka, if that's the case, Asuka and Shayna should have gone, again, 10, 15 minutes. They should have been beating the hell out of each other. It should have been this close back and forth. And if what you said is true at the beginning of this show, and that it is Paul Heyman trying to give a middle finger to Vince McMahon, then Paul Heyman, again, what are you doing? Like, but I really do feel like this is just Vince McMahon, like, just being like, whatever, like, let's just get this over with. Like, or even, I feel like it even could, it probably is just Paul Heyman just being like, all right, just get over with. Like, like, Vince wants Shayna to look strong. We want Shayna to be this unstoppable beast. He wants Brock Lesnar push. So we're going to just give him Brock Lesnar push. He's going to go in and just bury everybody. And I'm going to laugh about it. Like, and like, it just, I don't understand what. And at the end of it, this was going to happen. You're going to have Shayna go into Mania and, fingers crossed, beat Becky Lynch. And then where do you go after you've buried the entire women's roster on Raw? Because Charlotte's fighting for the
that's why we have a draft.
Because Charlotte, I was going to get to that. You have Charlotte fighting for the NXT Championship. So, the only person Shayna doesn't go through is Charlotte. So, that's the only one. Everyone else you've buried. So then you have to have a draft to put new women on the roster that you didn't bury. And it's, again, the same issue. That has always been my biggest problem with Brock Lesnar, is that when you have someone that's that unbeatable, that just buries everyone else on the card, at a certain point, it just makes everyone else look weak. And then when you do have him finally go get beaten by someone like, a Seth Rollins, and you had to do it by Seth Rollins kicking him in the knobs, then what? You've established that no one can beat Brock. He's this unbeatable guy that you have to basically cheat to beat, or be Roman. But then how does Roman lose matches ever? If he can beat the guy that no one can beat, Roman should be like undefeated in WWE.
No, man, he's one of those transition guys. We always talk about it. Ray can't beat Brock, but Roman can beat Brock, and Ray can beat Roman. So you put the belt on Roman so that the small guy can beat Roman. That's how it
But the
works.
thing is, though, it's never the small guy beats Roman. It's always like
Bigger guy, yeah.
it's always no. It's just Brock.
Yeah.
Like takes the title back and then
Mine.
But then it's like it's not even title matches Roman lose. It's like random matches on SmackDown. Roman will catch an L, and it's like, how does he lose if he beats Brock clean? Like Roman. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure besides Goldberg, Roman's the only person in the past like 3 to 5 years that's beat Brock clean. So it's like, what does that do for your card? So you have to either be Goldberg or Roman to beat Brock Lesnar. Or apparently Drew McIntyre. But again, if Drew McIntyre wins, then he's this unstoppable, can never be top. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I know.
You can't do this, like, guy can't be beaten storyline. Like, I get that. Oh yeah, that kind of worked. Everyone wants to do, like, has this memory, this infatuation with the unstoppable monster. I mean, you did it with Goldberg, and yeah, it was cool back in the day. I mean, you used to have guys going long undefeated all the time. I mean, you had it with Goldberg, you had it with Bruno Sammartino. Like, you had guys that would go on these long streaks that would never lose, looked like they were unbeatable. But that was back in the day. The business has changed so much now, and especially with how smart the fans are. Everyone knows the backstage politics. Everyone knows how things work nowadays. No one believes wrestling's real anymore. So the fact that everyone knows how the business runs now, when you have guys that are just winning match after match after match, no one sees it as, oh, this guy's getting built as strong. They see it as, this guy's being overly pushed. You can't have a modern day Goldberg. You can't have someone that goes on that run. I mean, you did it with Asuka, and the only reason it worked with Asuka was because at least, like, her matches would get closer and closer. It wasn't squash matches like the way Goldberg used to do it, where Goldberg just ran over everybody. Asuka always had that chance to lose. It was never just one-sided. While with Goldberg, the only reason he lost was because cattle prod. So it's like that. It does not work in 2020. Vince is so stuck on, like, the way things used to be that he's so, like, he can't get past the fact that the business has changed. No one wants to see someone go on 100+ win streak and never lose.
Well, yes. Welcome to the modern day. I mean,
yeah.
But the thing is, like, please tell me you're not just now realizing this.
Well, I'm saying that, like, it's not just Vince, though. It's Paul Heyman, too, because he's doing it with Brock Lesnar. They've been doing it with Brock Lesnar. And the problem is now they're doing it with, like, Shayna Baszler. They're taking everything that we liked about Shayna from NXT, and all they see is unstoppable monster. They don't get the idea of Shayna. They just see female Brock Lesnar. And that's not the point of the gimmick. When you have someone that's that dominant and that unstoppable, they don't get it. They just think, oh, we need another Goldberg or Brock. But that's not how that works. And I feel like I thought, okay, I was okay with it just being Brock. If it's just Brock Lesnar that comes in and does it, whatever. Like, there's that one guy. But then it's like you try to shove it on everyone else. Hell, we had it with Roman for a little bit. Like, when Roman was at the peak of his hatred, when he was just beating people with Superman punches, running over everybody. That's not what we want to see in modern day wrestling. We don't. I don't care if it's in WWE, NXT, AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA. I don't care. If I see this BS in any company, it's stupid. I don't want it. I don't want to see someone just running over people like, oh, they're nothing, nonchalant, whatever. No one wants to see that anymore. That's not people, like, this is the era of the work rate, where people want to see 30-minute classics. Everyone wants to see you go out there and put on a show for the crowd.
There's a reason that AJ Styles won Wrestler of the Decade. There's a reason that people call Kenny Omega the best bout machine. There's a reason that Kazuchika Okada, a name that normally 10, 15 years ago would be lost to wrestling, is considered to be one of the best in the business, because it's not just run through your opponent anymore. That's just not how the business works. And the thing is, it's like, even with the guys you take, I mean, Shayna Baszler, Roman, Brock, like, these are guys that could be work rate guys. Brock Lesnar, if
you let him, could go 30 minutes plus. He definitely could.
He showed that in the Rumble.
Shayna Baszler used to all the time in NXT put on these like 30-minute classics. That's what made it. Wasn't just the fact that she could beat the hell out of her opponents, like legitimately, but it was the fact that she could do that. But all of her matches were still like intense. Like there was always that. We knew she was gonna win, but it was like, well, maybe, she's still human. She's not this inhuman monster that bites people's necks and can never take an L.
Well, and the funny thing is that this might just wind up like the whole Asuka build. Asuka, undefeated, hits the main roster, runs through people.
Yeah. And then just gets
swatted at Mania.
And that is my biggest fear, is that's the only thing that I'm afraid of besides a Shayna Brock storyline. The other thing I'm afraid of is that you make Becky the new Charlotte, because it kind of feels like we're getting to that with Becky, where she is the new Charlotte, where she's just beating everyone, and you're gonna do all this build with Shayna just to have her smacked down by Becky Lynch. And Charlotte can survive it because she's a Flair. And she's so uberly talented, regardless of how much you hate her. She can survive it. I don't think Becky can survive that. Becky is amazing. Not that she's not uberly talented, not that she isn't, amazing, but the man gimmick that she came up with in this past year literally saved her career. She was spiraling down a path of like irrelevance. Mm-hmm. To the point where I was afraid we were going to see Becky being handed her future Endeavor papers within the next year or two. And this literally saved her career. If they do this to Becky Lynch and they have her pull a Charlotte at WrestleMania, I don't think she can recover from that. I don't think the hatred she receives, like, she won't be up. Her character is already getting stale. She's already starting to lose the connection with the fans, kind of like how Seth Rollins was. The difference is Seth Rollins is so brilliant that it doesn't. I'm losing connection with the fans. All right, turn me heel. Whatever, that's fine. Do we want to see a heel Becky Lynch?
I don't know, man. I want to see my pillow. That's what I want to see. It's 2:30 in the morning, and this is 45 minutes more than we needed.
No, man. I mean, regardless of whether the pay-per-view is good or not, I mean, there's so much to talk about with this, and you have to be able to like just break this stuff down and be like, look, WWE, like this just isn't good, and what they have in store for the future worries me more than what we got tonight. That's the scary part. Yeah. Is that you have such talented people on your roster, WWE, and I'm afraid that you're gonna ruin them. Like you're gonna ruin all of this. You've come so far with so many people building themselves up from nothing, and it's all at stake. This WrestleMania, it's all at stake.
And this right here is why I gave up on the main roster a while ago. I don't want to be invested because I don't care. Because it's bad. It's very bad. It has been very bad.
I'm not the one to give up on hope, though. I'm not the one to just say, oh, it's bad, let's just give up. That's not me. No.
See, I gave up hope on WWE when we got an alternative to it. Now that WWE is not my only option, I don't care. Y'all suck. You have sucked the whole time. I had to hold on to hope because you were my only option, really. Now you're not, and I don't care. You don't want me to not care. Because now we have an hour and 15-minute video of you yelling at the mic and me just sitting here nodding because I've accepted this over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Because this is how bad they've been. I'm just... I don't care. Genuinely, you ask me, I want WWE to die. I want it gone.
It won't.
No, I don't care about money and this and that. My dream, it dies. It gets cast into the fiery inferno that was WCW.
That's not the way it should go. That's not the way it should end. That's not what I want. That's not good for anyone. That's not good for the wrestling business. That's not good for AEW or anybody. If WWE goes, love them or hate them, that's bad for business. That is bad for the wrestling industry as a whole if you lose WWE. No one gets anything good from that happening.
Yeah, I don't have to watch sports entertainment ever again in my life. That's what's good.
Doesn't matter. Nothing good comes from losing WWE.
I would rather watch crappy pro wrestling at a bingo hall than sit here and watch these people who don't even give a damn about what they do in the ring. They have no passion. The people who write have no care. It's about this. That's it. They need to die in the fiery inferno. That's where they belong. I want it to be Eric Bischoff riding out on a motorcycle with the NWO in tow. Bad. That's how I want you to die. I want Tony Khan to show up on Monday Night Raw and say, yeah, I put you out of business, and guess what? I'm not even going to bring your guys over here because not a single one of them outside of AJ Styles knows what the F they're doing in a ring.
That's just wrong. So, I mean, I get passion, but there's the difference between passion and just sheer lunacy. That's just wrong. So,
it needs to die. I've been posting about this on Twitter, those of you who followed me. WWE right now is at the level of where WCW was on their decline. That is the level of sheer bad booking, lack of passion, lack of care that you have from your professional wrestlers, if you can even call them that.
I think you need to go back and watch WCW then, because it's nowhere near that bad. It's not even close. They haven't approached that bad.
Buddy, it's right at the start of the decline.
And again, to say that the wrestlers don't have the passion, I mean, yeah, we didn't see it tonight because 2 weeks of build, but I don't agree that the wrestlers don't have passion. I don't agree that they're not good in the ring. I don't agree with that at all. I think attacking the people that are going out putting their bodies on the line week in, week out, that's not where you go about this. It's the company. It's Vince McMahon and WWE. It's not the guys out there in the business doing this. They have nothing to do with this.
Okay, so you want to tell me, you mean to tell me that you were inspired by somebody's work over the last 3 weeks, other than, say, Ricochet? And let's put it this way. Any homegrown WWE talent.
So, Kevin Owens?
Nope. Ring of Honor.
Well, again, okay, if we're going to say homegrown, 90% of their current rosters are guys from the indie scene, so you can't make that argument. Seth Rollins isn't even grown in the WWE.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So who am I supposed to pick?
I don't know. Dolph Ziggler?
Dolph Ziggler came from the indie scene too.
Yeah,
so
from FCW.
So you can't say home. The only way you can say homegrown is if someone was like just completely brought up to the WWE system, and that's not how WWE anymore. That hasn't been WWE in years. So
I'm just saying.
We can't. If you're gonna say WWE talent, then let me say WWE talent. But don't just put a barrier on it and say no. It has to be homegrown. I can name you Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. Like I can name you. I think I've been loving what Randy Orton's been doing. I even liked what Roman Reigns was doing. I just think his storyline's trash, but he hasn't been putting on bad matches. It's just his storyline sucks.
Does he look inspired at all when he's out there dumping dog food on somebody's head?
Well, him and Uso, they're having all the fun in the world. They just hate what they're doing, but they're having fun every week.
This is what I'm saying to you. You got a roster of hundreds of people, hundreds of writers. And it all comes down to one thing.
But see, that's where you're wrong, though. You don't have hundreds of writers. You have a writing room of maybe 5 or 10 people that it's just an echo chamber. That's all it is.
Well, no, but that's the thing. You get 5 to 10 people at that table, but that's not how that works. There are hundreds of people who work on possible storyline ideas, who sit there and write scripts for people, hand them up, and the day of the show, those 10 to 15 people sit down and decide what gets put in.
But it's only hundreds if you're saying that it's the wrestlers themselves that are writing out the ideas. They don't have hundreds of writers doing this. It's just, you have the wrestlers come up with ideas, they float ideas up to the company through the pipeline, then you have your like 10 or 15 group of like writers that talk about things with the head executive of each show, and then those ideas then get cleared by Vince McMahon. That's how it's always been.
Right, but again, all of it comes down to one thing, and that was my point.
Yeah,
every single thing comes down to Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it gets cleared through the big boss.
Which is why one of two things need to happen. He needs to turn the company over, or he will lose it. Mark my words.
It'll never happen.
Mark my words.
WWE will never.
Their stock has plummeted the last 3 months. And not just coronavirus, the whole issue going on with the NASDAQ and the Dow.
But how often do we see WWE stock go down? It happens all the time.
This has been really, I'm talking $20 to $30 a share. That's insane.
But we can look back to actually, to about the date, like 5 years ago, we saw something very similar with WWE stock. It's not uncommon with WWE. The only reason it's scary is because of the deal they did with Fox, and they're worried about what Fox is thinking, so they're trying to appease their masters with Fox. So they're like, oh, God, don't take away the billions and billions of dollars that you gave us.
I'm telling you.
No, WWE isn't.
You want to look at a way to not run your company? Look at Vince McMahon.
Well, say what you want about Vince as a wrestling person, but as a businessman, I mean, the dude knows what he's doing.
Really? Because the XFL went bankrupt once.
But that's the XFL. And guess what's back?
You just said businessman.
Well, first of all, it went bank. It wasn't just Vince running the XFL. He tried to run it as a type of like pseudo wrestling, like this weird like storyline thing.
That was Vince's brainchild.
Yes, but he didn't bring on.
That's like saying Trump steaks is not Trump's fault.
But
Steaks.
But I'm saying that first of all, that was like how many years ago? Second, the XFL is back and it's doing phenomenally. And the one thing that Vince has always been really good at is running a wrestling company, and it's WWE is the conglomerate that it is still making billions of dollars every year, and it's in no shape of failing whatsoever.
Neither was WCW at the time.
WCW, there were years of signs of that company failing. Come on, man. Like, that's just lunacy. Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
People saw the writing on the wall.
But that's what I'm saying, Marcus. There was a point where WCW transitioned from a company that was inclining or staying put to the slow, steady decline to death.
But it wasn't slow. It was when WCW died, it happened fast. It wasn't slow at all.
But there were signs of it happening years out.
There were people. No, it happened so. Look up. I need you to go. It's on the network, or you can go and watch hundreds. Not the Monday Night Wars. You can go watch. There's a whole interview. Not interview. There's a whole thing called the rise and fall of WCW. I want you to go watch that. Like, really, literally, legitimately go watch that, and then we can go back and have this conversation. Because what you're saying right now is just inherently false.
No, it's not.
It
really isn't.
It really is.
No, you sitting here and just telling me something's inherently false doesn't make it inherently false, because I've done my own research, I've done my own observations, and it doesn't take what WWE is literally cramming into your head to be inherently true.
I mean, the thing is, though, you're just saying that, what I'm saying is wrong, but you're saying that WCW's decline wasn't fast. It was very much fast. It happened like that.
The death was quick.
The fall was.
It wasn't.
It very much so was. When WCW declined, it happened. It happened within the span of a few years. It was so quick.
Whatever you say, man. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm really not. I'm not in the mood to argue about this, because, quite frankly, the fact that you're sitting here in any way, shape, or form defending WWE is just gross.
Well, I'm gonna say this again. Rise and fall of WCW. Go watch it. And until then, we will have this conversation after you've watched that documentary. Rise and fall of WCW.
Right.
And
by
again,
WWE Media.
Actually, the Rise and Fall of WCW, that one was made. That one, at least I believe, was created by an independent company. I know there is the one on WWE Network that was created, but I don't care what WWE says about WCW, because that's just them. We're better than WCW, but I mean, it's been talked about. The rise and fall of that company has been talked about by
There were
everybody.
tipping points up to a year and a half before the fall of WCW.
Yeah,
there were tipping points. There were signs.
Yeah, the company died within like a year or two. That's very
I'm
fast.
not talking about more than a year or two.
That's
saying, well,
pretty fast.
Here, personally,
and you think WWE's dying in a year or two?
No. I think WWE, because they have more money, because they are what they are, I give them 10. Tops.
Okay.
10 years tops.
Okay. We know what's going to be even funny? What's going to be even funnier? And this, I don't want this to happen. No, I don't want either one to happen. But what the conversation I really want to see, and it'd be funny to have, is 10 years down the line, what company is still around? AEW or WWE? Because guess what's been the one, love them or hate them, what has stood the test of time? So and especially if I don't see the fact that I don't see Vince McMahon running the company in 10 years, and I do see it being Triple H.
Well, that is their one possible saving grace.
I mean, it will be Triple H running the company, though. Like if
it's still around when he's there.
There's no way it won't be. If it ever gets to the point where they're actually afraid that Vince is going to run the company to the ground, like moves will be made. Vince may be the chairman of the board, but chairmen can be outed.
Yes, chairmans can be outed, but best of luck escorting Vince McMahon out of that business and the stock's not dying.
It'll
the
be
chairman
fine.
of the board of WWE, usually when an executive leaves a company, you see a couple point dip here or there. When a chairman leaves a company or is escorted out of a company, it's apocalyptic. I've literally seen stocks worth thousands of dollars a share go down because there's an issue with one of their board members, or they decide to escort them out, or they think that there's some kind of controversy with the way they're running things, so they out them. WWE's a $60 stock.
But we've seen that happen. I mean, we actually just saw it happen with Disney. Their guy just got outed. And do you have any chance of Disney going anywhere?
Disney's also literally 5 times larger than WWE.
My idea is, if you want to make the comparison, Disney is to general entertainment what WWE is to wrestling. It's just too big to fail.
But it's not, because it's not wrestling.
Sports entertainment, whatever.
Which makes it an entirely different industry.
It's still the professional wrestling industry.
No, it's not.
WWE
I refuse to acknowledge that as professional wrestling. It's garbage is what it is.
Okay. Well, regardless, I mean, I'd love to see where WWE and AEW are within the 10 years.
And you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I am wrong.
Do you hope?
No,
you're the guy that was just saying that WWE, you want to see it burning in flames.
The reason I hope that I'm wrong is because it would be really good for the wrestling industry to continue to have 2 options. And if Triple H does take over, then things could get better. But at the state it is at currently, I would personally love to see their headquarters littered with gasoline and a match lit. Well, and the last thing that happens is the warped remains of the WWE sign that's hanging on the top falls down.
Well, I have to say that he's kidding there, because I can't promote literal arson on our podcast without us getting taken down. So I'm going to have to ask you to retract that statement.
It was a joke.
Yes. So he was kidding. It's a joke. So with that being said, gonna go ahead and call it a night here, because obviously things are getting a little heated. Disagreements aside, Elimination Chamber still wasn't good.
MVP, again, by the way.
MVP for me is probably going to be I don't even know, AJ?
Yeah, I'm taking Lindsay Dorado.
All right, so my MVP is AJ. Match of the night, we already said it's AJ Alistair. So, yeah, that is...
I would say that is match of the night.
So anyway, that's your champion.
This is the new Wrevolution pro wrestling podcast world heavyweight champion, the man who will sit here and tell you what real pro wrestling is, because you goons are too stupid to understand that WWE does not qualify.
Okay, JD. So, with that being said, my name is Marques White.
My name is Nick Cavalli.
And social media links down in the description. Make sure you follow us there. The Wrevolution Pro Wrestling Podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and of course, as always, the Podbean, and wherever else fine pro wrestling podcasts are found. So, live from Studio 6 at 2:30 plus in the morning,
we invite you to
join the revolution.
Have a good night.